what we say every morning here on the Today Show. Take your passion and make it happen. That is Jennifer Beals in 1983's Flashdance, the movie that made leg warmers pretty cool. And Today loves the 80s. We're going to check out all the fashion hits and misses of that memorable decade. And in my life, there were more misses than hits. There's no question about it. We're back at 7:30 on a Wednesday morning. It's the 15th of October, 2003. And you're looking at some people gathered outside our windows on the world here in Rockefeller Center on kind of a cool and breezy morning here in the Northeast. And some of these people probably have a Frankie Says Relax t-shirt buried somewhere in their closets. Inside Studio 1A, I'm Matt Lauer along with Katie Couric.
That's right. It was an era of Top Gun, New Kids on the Block, and the Bangles walking like an Egyptian. But what drove us crazy? The Rubik's Cube. We're going to go head-to-head with the reigning champ. Ruh-roh. Uh-oh.
Also coming up in this half hour, we're going to meet a New Mexico teenager who was not only her class's homecoming princess last weekend, she also scored a touchdown as the tailback for the football team. Then later, two fine actors will join us, Tim Robbins and John Cusack.
But before we get to all of that, we begin this half hour with a story that may have broad implications. Jury selection begins today in a case that pits IBM against former employees who claim the computer giant knowingly exposed them to chemicals that eventually cause cancer. The case in San Jose, California could be a landmark one because of the potential for enormous claims that could extend to other companies in the industry. NBC's Shelley Smith has more.
When Alida Hernandez landed a job at the IBM manufacturing plant in San Jose, California back in 1977, she says she thought she hit the lotto.
I was thrilled. I thought it was one of the greatest jobs.
Hernandez worked in what's called the clean room, where computer microchips are made. She says she suffered from headaches, sore throats, and sinus problems, but never thought there could be a connection between her health and the chemicals, until she was diagnosed with breast cancer.
I feel angry. It can't be a coincidence that so many manufacturing people got the cancer.
Hernandez and hundreds of other employees are suing IBM and its chemical suppliers, accusing the computer giant of exposing its workers to cancer-causing chemicals and then lying to them about the health risks.
We're going to prove that cancer was caused by working at IBM.
Richard Alexander represents 257 IBM workers in Vermont, New York, Minnesota, and California.
IBM should have been telling them that the clean rooms were only safe for the products, that they weren't safe for people. And because that information was withheld, people died early.
IBM denies the allegations and issued this statement. We believe a complete airing of the facts at trial will show that while tragic, these employees' health issues are not the result of working conditions at IBM. The suit filed in Santa Clara County involving 4 workers is the first of its kind to go to trial and is being closely watched by the electronics industry. Legal experts say a ruling in favor of the workers could open the door to more lawsuits. But Craig Bloomgarden, who specializes in cases like these, says it won't be easy.
Proving that a cancer was caused by an exposure to the chemical in the workplace or otherwise is hard to do because of the myriad of factors, both known and unknown, that can cause cancers.
The complaints have been brewing for more than a decade, as Katie Couric first reported on Dateline in 1997. Then, nearly a dozen employees from the Fishkill, New York plant sued IBM.
I was diagnosed with cervical cancer.
I was diagnosed with testicular cancer.
Everyone in my area had sore throats, nausea.
According to their attorney, all are still suffering. Their lawsuits have not yet gone to trial. Nicole Sanders also worked at IBM. She died of colon cancer at age 24. Back in 1997, Nicole's mother told Dateline why she joined the suit.
I am horrified and I'm sad, and I feel guilty that I pushed my daughter to go to work in a condition like this. I thought it was a safe place for my daughter to work, and it makes me sick.
The Sanders case was dismissed because the statute of limitations had passed, but her family still believes her death is job-related. But there are doctors on both sides of whether the clean rooms caused cancer. While clean room workers were exposed to toxic chemicals used to make the chips, IBM says they were used at levels far below government standards. Allegations of chemical exposure and cancer are only part of the story. IBM's own study found higher rates of miscarriages among women exposed to a chemical used in the clean rooms. IBM has since phased out the chemical. And Dateline also discovered evidence of potential birth defects believed related to this chemical as well. Back in 1997, Faye Calton told Dateline that while pregnant, she didn't hesitate to work in the clean room because she thought it was safe.
You know, I have a child who is blind, who's got a tracheostomy because he can't breathe. I would have easily left IBM if I knew that this was going to happen.
Today, Zachary is 15. His condition is very rare, and doctors don't know what caused it. IBM and 2 suppliers settled with his parents for a reported $40 million without admitting any responsibility. Alida Hernandez hopes her lawsuit will help protect the next generation of workers and force companies to put safety first.
I was dumb. I was ignorant for not asking any questions, but I never thought that anyone would use me just so they could make money.
For Today, Shelley Smith, NBC News, Los Angeles.
It is 7:36. Now let's go outside for a check of the weather from Mr. Roker. Hi, Al.
Hi, Katie and Matt. How are you all? We're out here from folks from Andy Griffith land, from Mayberry RFD, huh?
White and Jeanette Hooker.
Well, having a good time?
I'm having a great time.
Now, was there really a Mount Pilot?
Oh, it's called Pilot Mountain. But
oh, so he just kind of switched it around.
Yeah, switched it around.
Did you ever see